Two Coldplay concert goers caught canoodling during the show at Gillette Stadium in Massachusetts.
Oh, look at these two. All right, come on, you're okay? Uh-oh, what?
They thought they could get away with it. A stolen glance, a subtle touch, and then the kiss cam exposed everything. In a matter of seconds, what should have been a sweet concert moment spiraled into a full-blown corporate disaster. Two powerful executives caught getting way too close in front of 65,000 fans, with millions more watching online. But this wasn't just some cringy viral moment. This was the start of a scandal that shattered marriages, ended careers, and left two families in ruins. And it all went down at a Coldplay concert. That's right, a Coldplay concert. By the time the crowd stopped cheering, the internet had already declared war. Memes flooded TikTok, merchandise popped up on Etsy, and the faces of these two executives, Andy Byron and Kristen Kitt, were everywhere. But what most people didn't see, what happened behind closed doors, was far worse than anyone imagined. Because the truth behind this viral kiss cam clip isn't just awkward, it's devastating. It's a story about betrayal at the highest levels, whispered rumors turned explosive headlines, and a kiss that cost everything. And once you hear what really happened, you'll never see this clip the same way again. It was the 16th of July, 2025. Gillette Stadium in Massachusetts was packed with over 65,000 Coldplay fans, lights flashing, music booming, and energy at an all-time high. Then came the moment everyone loves, the kiss cam. The camera panned across the crowd, couples laughing, hugging, playing along, and then it landed on them. A man and a woman sitting just a little too close. At first, it looked like just another awkward couple moment. He tried to hide. She looked away, and the crowd gave a collective laugh. Even Chris Martin, Coldplay's frontman, chimed in with a cheeky remark. Into the mic, he said, "Either they're having an affair or they're just really shy." The audience roared. It was funny. It was harmless, or so it seemed. Within hours, that clip exploded online. TikTok went wild. Twitter, or X, as it's now called, lit up with reactions, parodies, and a flurry of guesses. Who were they? Why were they acting so weird? Why did he duck like he'd seen a ghost? But as the video kept spreading, internet sleuths did what they do best. They found them. And what they uncovered turned a silly moment into a full-scale meltdown. Because that wasn't just a random couple. The man was Andy Byron, the CEO of a billion-dollar tech company called Astronomer. And the woman beside him, Kristen Kitt, the company's head of HR. Both high-ranking executives, both powerful, and both married to other people. And that, right there, was when everything began to fall apart. The internet didn't just stop at names, it dug deeper. And what it found flipped the story from awkward to explosive. Andy Byron wasn't just any CEO. He ran Astronomer, a billion-dollar software company backed by some of the biggest investors in Silicon Valley. Kristen Kitt wasn't just his coworker, she was his chief people officer, the head of HR. In other words, the person responsible for employee conduct and company ethics. The irony wasn't just obvious, it was humiliating. Two top-level execs caught in what looked a lot like an affair, right in front of a live audience and millions online. And once their names were out, the consequences came fast and hard. Andy's wife, Megan Carrion, moved in silence but with precision. She deleted his last name from all her social media accounts. Then she vanished completely. No posts, no tweets, just gone. But that silence spoke louder than any statement. TikTok commenters flooded her old photos, calling her a queen, showing support, and slamming Andy for public betrayal. The court of public opinion had spoken, and it wasn't even close. But the real storm was just getting started, because Kristen wasn't single either, far from it. She was married to Andrew Kitt, a well-known Boston businessman and the CEO of Privateer Rum, a premium spirits company with deep New England roots. This wasn't just a personal scandal, it was a high society disaster. And just weeks before the concert, Kristen and her husband had purchased a $2.2 million home together in Rye, New Hampshire, a mansion that now hangs in the balance of what could be a messy, high-profile divorce. And according to insiders, Andrew Kitt was furious. Not publicly, but behind the scenes. because less than 48 hours after the video went viral, he allegedly started meeting with top-tier divorce attorneys in Boston. If true, that meant legal war was already brewing behind closed doors. But that wasn't the only thing Kristen and Andy were about to lose. It didn't take long for the corporate fallout to hit. Behind the glossy tech branding and billion-dollar valuations, Astronomer's board was in full crisis mode. Two of their top executives had just turned the company into a meme, and not the good kind. This wasn't about numbers or performance. It was about trust, image, and ethics. And Astronomer had no choice but to act fast. Within 48 hours of the clip going viral, both Andy Byron and Kristen Kitt were placed on administrative leave. That alone sent shockwaves through the company. These weren't mid-level employees, they were running the show, and now they were being pushed out of it. 3 days later, on the 19th of July, it became official. Andy Byron resigned. Gone. Just like that. One of the most powerful men in the company. Now a cautionary tale in every HR meeting across the country. His replacement? Pete DeJoy, Astronomer's co-founder, who was immediately named acting CEO. But Kristen's situation was murkier. Her LinkedIn disappeared. Her name vanished from company materials. Some sources said she was on unpaid leave. Others claimed she was still technically employed, just hidden in the shadows. Why the hesitation? According to employment lawyers, firing her outright could be a legal nightmare. If Astronomer couldn't prove clear policy violations, they risked a wrongful termination lawsuit. And since Kristen was the head of HR, she knew every detail of those policies better than anyone. Inside the company, people whispered. One employee said, "We always knew they were close, but not like that." Others stayed silent, watching the scandal unravel from behind Slack channels and private emails. But the damage was done. Morale tanked, trust cracked, and leadership, it had just imploded. And while the corporate world scrambled to do damage control, the internet was already onto its next obsession, turning the scandal into comedy gold. As Astronomer tried to contain the internal chaos, the internet did what it always does, turned the wreckage into entertainment. In just days, the infamous kiss cam moment went from scandal to spectacle. Sports mascots began reenacting it live during games. The Savannah Bananas copied the exact moment Kristen turned her back. Baxter the Bobcat from the Diamondbacks nailed Andy's awkward head duck. Even the Philly Fanatic joined in. It was everywhere. Then came the merch. Etsy shops exploded with t-shirts, mugs, and tote bags, each one printed with freeze frames from the Jumbotron footage. Play stupid games, win stupid prizes became the slogan of the week. Influencers joked about it. Late-night hosts poked fun. Everyone online had something to say. But while the world laughed, the people involved weren't laughing at all. Andy's wife Megan had disappeared from public view. Kristen's husband Andrew stayed silent, but insiders claimed he was seething. 2 families, 2 marriages, 2 reputations shattered. And the worst part? Their children. Andy and Megan have 2 kids. Kristen's blended family includes young relatives. Those kids now live in a world where their parents' faces are punchlines and their family names are forever attached to a scandal. This wasn't just a meme, it was a public execution. And for Andy and Kristen, the price of that one moment was still rising. While social media had its field day and the memes kept multiplying, the people left behind were making moves, quiet ones. And none louder than Andrew Kitt, Kristen's husband. Though he never said a word publicly, those close to him say his silence wasn't weakness, it was calculation. Andrew wasn't just some spouse scorned. He's a powerhouse in his own right. As CEO of Privateer Rum and heir to the historic Cabot family legacy in New England, he's known across Massachusetts business circles as the kind of man who plays the long game. And when the kiss cam footage hit the internet, insiders say he didn't explode, he picked up the phone. Rumors swirled that within 48 hours of the scandal going viral, Andrew had already begun consulting with some of Boston's top-tier divorce attorneys. Private, high-stakes meetings, discreet but deliberate. And while no public filings have emerged, yet everyone close to the situation believes they're coming. What makes it worse? Just months before the scandal, Kristen and Andrew had purchased a $2.2 million home together in Rye, New Hampshire. Now, that mansion is rumored to be one of the central pieces in what could become a bitter, highly publicized divorce. And remember, Andy Byron's wife Megan hasn't made any public comments either, but her actions said it all. Her name gone from social media, her posts wiped. Supporters swarmed her old pages with words of solidarity. She didn't need to issue a statement. She just stepped back and let the internet do the talking. But for both Andrew and Megan, this wasn't just about heartbreak. It was about betrayal on the world stage. And if the rumors are true, legal war is only just beginning. What made this story explode wasn't just the viral clip or the executive titles. It was something deeper, something that struck a nerve with millions of people watching. This wasn't a celebrity scandal or just another affair. It was a public reminder of private betrayal, the kind that too many people know firsthand. Cheating doesn't just hurt the person. It's aimed at, it creates shockwaves. It shatters trust. It leaves kids confused, spouses broken, and reputations beyond repair. It shows how one selfish moment, one decision, one kiss caught on camera can burn down years of loyalty in seconds. And the fact that these two weren't just anyone, but powerful, wealthy, successful figures made it worse. They had everything: families, careers, respect. And they threw it away in a 16-second moment of arrogance, or maybe just carelessness. But what really burned people online wasn't just the cheating, it was the hypocrisy. Kristen was the head of HR, the woman meant to uphold integrity inside a billion-dollar company. Andy was the CEO, preaching leadership, culture, and professionalism. Yet both of them broke every rule they were hired to enforce. And now, their lives are permanently branded by it. People didn't just watch a scandal unfold, they saw a mirror. A reminder that no matter how successful you are, character still counts. And when you betray the people who trust you most, no position or paycheck can save you. Because some mistakes don't fade, they follow you. And the internet, it never forgets. As the days passed, something became very clear. None of the key players were speaking. Not a single public apology, no press release, no damage control interview, just silence. And that silence became deafening. Andy Byron vanished. His social media, gone. His LinkedIn, deleted. No tweets, no explanations, nothing. Kristen Kitt, same story. No public comment, no attempt to clarify, defend, or even deny. The two people at the center of the internet's favorite train wreck simply disappeared, and that only made the story grow louder. But behind the scenes, insiders say both of them are facing internal investigations, legal consultations, and possibly, ironically, HR hearings at the very company they once ran. Astronomer, trying to recover its reputation, reportedly began reviewing internal codes of conduct and reevaluating workplace relationships between executives. The same rules Kristen once helped write may now be used against her. Meanwhile, employees are left reeling. One source claimed the office vibe has never been colder. Trust is shattered, leadership feels unstable. And in a company built on data and systems, emotions are now the biggest variable. As for Andrew Kitt and Megan Carrion, the betrayed spouses, they've said nothing. But their silence speaks volumes. No interviews, no tabloid deals, just quiet dignity in the middle of chaos. And maybe that's what made the world side with them. They didn't have to fight back online. The truth did it for them. Because sometimes, when the dust settles, the loudest message comes from the ones who walk away without saying a word. It only took 16 seconds. That's all it was. 16 seconds on a Jumbotron camera. But in that blink of a moment, two entire lives were unraveled publicly, permanently, and without warning. Andy Byron and Kristen Kitt didn't just make a mistake, they let the whole world watch it happen. And what started as an uncomfortable laugh from the crowd turned into a cultural event. It wasn't just about who they were, it was about what they represented: power, privilege, and the belief that they were untouchable. But the internet doesn't play favorites. It doesn't care about job titles or expensive suits. It doesn't care that you built a billion-dollar company. When the curtain gets pulled back and people see something ugly behind it, they don't forget, and they don't forgive. Now, Andy is jobless. Kristen is in hiding. Astronomer's reputation is bruised. Their families are splintered. Divorce lawyers are circling. And that clip is still being replayed in memes, jokes, and online commentary like an echo that never dies. They thought it was just a kiss cam. A moment of risk, a private choice, made in public. But it wasn't just that. It was the unraveling of two careers, two families, and a legacy they'll never rebuild. Because some mistakes aren't just career-ending, they're life-altering. This wasn't just a viral video. It was a moment that exposed something far deeper, how fragile trust really is, and how fast it can vanish. Andy Byron and Kristen Kitt didn't just break vows or company rules. They broke something much harder to fix, the belief that the people in power still have values. Because at the heart of every scandal isn't just the action, it's the betrayal. The people who trusted you, depended on you, believed in you, they're the ones left picking up the pieces. You can lose a job and find another. You can rebuild a company, rebrand an image, and craft the perfect apology. But once trust is gone, it's gone. And no PR team, no statement, no social media post can ever truly bring it back. What this story really shows is that the smallest decision, one moment of weakness, one selfish act can change everything. Families ruined, careers torched, legacies erased, all because two people thought no one was watching. But someone always island. So maybe the real lesson here isn't about scandal or social media. Maybe it's about integrity when no one's looking. Because loyalty doesn't get headlines. But when it's broken, the whole world tunes in.